Live from the NJ.com studio comes the only weekly TV podcast you'll need, where a lofty critic squares off with an obsessed superfan on everything from highbrow drama to lowbrow reality. The cocktail shaker is ready. Prepare for your TV hangover. Now, your hosts, Vicki Hyman and Erin Medley.
Hello and welcome to TV Hangover. I am one of your hosts, Erin Medley, alongside Vicki Hyman. Vicki.
Hi, everybody.
We also have a special guest in studio today, Craig McCarthy. Hi, Craig.
Hi, how are you today?
We're good. Craig is a Game of Thrones expert, more so than I am because he can remember things.
He can remember names, yes.
And I don't remember anything. So we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones today. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at TVHangoverShow, at @E_meds, at Vicki High, VICKIHY, and you can follow Craig too if you like what he has to say. He's at Create Craig. I follow him.
As do I.
He tweets some good things. All right, so Vicki, I've been trying to catch up on TV. The Walking Dead has fallen by the wayside.
Let it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, all right, fine. I've been trying to do my Orange is the New Black. Been binging that on and off.
Episode 10. We'll just be discussing it later.
10?
We're not going to be discussing until episode 10, but I couldn't help keep on watching last night at 12 o'clock.
Okay. All right, look, because
One
I'm
more
only
episode.
on 8. I'm only on 8. All right, but we will talk about Orange is the New Black. We're also going to talk about a little Big Brother because Vicki was challenged to watch the first 2 episodes of the season.
I was challenged. It was challenging.
Oh, we'll get there.
It was very challenging.
Don't start complaining yet. You don't know.
There will be complaints.
You don't know how to appreciate a good reality TV show, is all I'm saying. Let's get into the news. There are a lot of things happening.
Really?
Not really. Just a couple that I want to breeze through here. I know, again, you don't watch reality TV shows, but...
Except the Big Kahuna, Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Oh, please.
Which is coming back.
It's soon.
Yes.
But no, not that reality show. This one's on Lifetime. Dance Moms. The star, Abby Lee Miller.
I've been following that one.
I mean, she could face 24 to 30 months in prison after she pled guilty to 20 counts of fraud and violating currency reporting laws because she tried to, smuggled money in from Australia.
It was very similar to, not extremely similar, but it's sort of similar to what happened to Teresa, who, as we all know, ended up serving a year in prison.
She did.
Yeah, bankruptcy fraud.
Here's what I don't understand, and we have this experience again with Teresa. These people are on reality television shows and somehow think that they won't get caught. Mm-hmm. Like, people are watching your every move, including the government.
Especially the government.
Especially the government. Well, again, you don't watch reality shows, but Richard Hatch, who won the first season of Survivor...
It's just because I don't watch reality shows, I don't know what's going on in the greater world.
So what happened?
Yes. He was convicted of... He didn't pay his taxes.
Fraud.
He didn't pay his taxes. I know, he went to jail.
He did.
I think a couple of times he got out and went back in again.
No.
Violating
something. Maybe he did. Well, look, all I have to say is if you want to be on a reality show, make sure you have your finances in order and don't try to cheat the government because they will find you. Mm-hmm. And then you'll go to jail, which is not a reality show. All right, so ABC...
But will be probably at some point in the near future.
Dance Moms behind bars. ABC released its fall schedule. Now, I don't want to go through this whole thing because it's unnecessary, but one thing did stand out for me, and that would be Wednesday nights, where they've paired... Okay, let me just go through this. Ready? 8 p.m., The Goldbergs.
Okay.
All right. 8:30, Speechless, which is that show with Minnie Driver and the little kid who doesn't talk.
Who is, yes. Mm-hmm.
Right, okay, makes sense. 9 o'clock, Modern Family. Mm-hmm. We're used to that. 9:30, Blackish.
Yeah.
10 p.m., Designated Survivor. How do you have a 2-hour comedy block followed by a drama about a man who becomes president when the Capitol gets blown up?
And we don't really know that much about the show, like what its tone is going to be. I have a feeling it's going to veer a little bit more towards thriller, so it's a little bit lighter than like just, your regular 10 p.m. drama. And those are very popular comedies, and this is probably going to be a very popular drama/thriller.
I know.
So
I just think it's very odd.
it is a little odd, but I'm guessing that based on that lineup, it's going to be like a little peppier than you would normally expect a drama to be.
All right, fine. And also, my question has finally been answered. When will Secret and Lies return?
Oh, yes. Please tell me.
Sunday, September 25th at 9 p.m.
Wait till I mark it off on my calendar.
Look, I've watched the season 2 premiere because it's been available for months if you're a member of the media. And it's way better than the first season. You have to watch. You have to watch.
You have to watch.
No. You have to watch.
Oh.
Because if you don't watch, then I have to recap for you.
Okay, then I'll watch it.
Exactly. Because we know how much you love that.
Because the recaps last as long as the episodes.
Because a lot of things happen. Not my fault. All right, and finally, the Game of Thrones Season 6 finale on Sunday scored a record high in the overnight numbers. It was seen by 8.9 million viewers, according to Entertainment Weekly. The previous record was held by the Season 5 finale, which had 8.1 million viewers. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not surprising at all.
No.
It was a good finale.
It was a good finale.
And that segues right into our next segment. Let's talk about the Game of Thrones finale. Okay.
You know, I'm watching it. Okay, I'm watching it like on 3 levels. Okay, I watched season 6 live with my son. I am watching it from the beginning again, and now we're in season 3, which is really interesting.
Is that the Red Wedding season? Or
it is the Red Wedding season.
Okay.
We haven't hit it yet. And then my TV watching club, who I watched it. I watched all the first 5 seasons with. They kept it until we just started watching season 6 from the beginning of season. So I'm now watching season 6 again. So I'm watching it at 3 different points. And I gotta say, there were actually I think this was the best season ever, but there were actually quite a few slow points now that I'm watching season 6 again.
You think this was the best season ever?
Absolutely.
Craig?
I don't know. I'm in the same boat as you. I'm in the point where my dad is rewatching the whole season, so we talk about it almost every week, and I'm doing the audiobooks. So I'm in the second book of that, and I'm obviously watching it live. So I wouldn't say this is the best. I would say maybe this is the second best. I think season 3 is probably the best, probably the most solid season.
Which is the one I'm watching right now.
The issues that we've talked about in this season is the timing.
Yes,
everybody's like riding cars to get everywhere. I mean, everybody has a dragon, or I don't know. Yeah, there's obviously a high-speed train that has been built in Westeros, and they
underground train goes right through the what's that stuff called? Wildfire? Not wildfire. What is it called?
What are you talking
the green
about?
stuff.
That's wildfire. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look, I remembered
know.
something. Okay, so wait. Let's start at the beginning of this episode because the opening. What would you even call that? It wasn't one single scene, but it felt that way. It was like 25 minutes.
It was very out of character for the show.
Yes, but it was like sort of like watching an opera or something very artistic. Just the tone that they set and the camera shots and
the way it built.
But so what do you think when you say the way it built? What do you think was like the ultimate moment in that scene and in that series?
Like, what are we ending the point at?
I think when Tommen fell out the window. No. Oh no! Sorry. When Cersei left the nun in the room and was saying shame, wasn't that part of the whole?
Yeah, I mean, it was like there was so much stuff going on, just kept on going, and I like that they like that would have been an episode just in and of itself, quite frankly. And it was just like the first 20 minutes of the finale. I really enjoyed it. There's been this talk going on about whether theories are the new spoilers. And I think we've talked about this, right? And people have been speculating this for so many weeks now that, they were talking about the wildfire. She's going to blow up the sept. Tommen's going to die. And so I can't say that anything that happened was particularly surprising, like last episode, but they did it so well. It was so well done, and you were so drawn in. The only thing I have to quibble with was I thought they spent too much time on Loras for him to actually just die in the end in the explosion. So I would have trimmed a little bit of the Loras.
But don't you think that they spent so much time on Loras so that they could spend time on Marjorie?
There wasn't that much time on Marjorie.
But her reaction to the whole...
They're just, she was upset. She goes to talk to the High Sparrow. The High Sparrow's like, yeah, well, this had to happen. It just seemed like they were stretching that little part out a little bit too much.
I just think it just showed how powerless Marjorie was. And she thought she had so much control over this whole situation.
And she was playing the game pretty damn well. And she was the only person in the Sept who knew what was going on.
Right, but as Tyrion has always said, the people who believe in things, which he says in this episode, he sees what happens to them. And they try to play this game. The same thing that happened with Cersei is that she created this monster herself. But I think the best part about that whole scene was just the music. I mean, we talked about that. We both knew that this scene was pretty much coming. They foreshadowed it. Tyrion has been mentioned the wildfire in episode 9, where he was talking about the Mad King. It was referenced.
The wildfire was referenced in the Branch flashbacks.
Right, exactly. So we kind of knew that we expected this to happen, something along these lines. But it was just so well done.
Especially when the organ music started.
Right.
I was like, wow.
Well, I think the big thing that surprised me was Tommen. I mean, I didn't
see that.
I knew he was going to die, but I kind of always suspected that it was going to be some way Cersei accidentally kills him, but this was just.
But Cersei did accidentally kill him.
She did, and I think that she was. I think she knew that he was going to die, and she'd already accepted it.
Right.
Yes.
No.
I have to say that and I didn't mind it at all. But when they showed the shot of the window and Tommen looking over, and then Tommen leaves the shot, and they remain on the open window, I was like, Tommen's going to come back and throw himself out.
What did Tommen do? He took off the crown?
He took off the crown.
Okay.
He didn't want to ruin the crown.
Well, that's and that's the only decision that he's ever made himself. Is to kill himself, which I
thought, while I understood why that needed to happen, and we could all say that we knew he was going to die, that seemed very out of character for Tommen to make any decision on his own.
Well, I think that's why. I think he was trying to do the right thing, but I think he just realized that this was way beyond his reach of even emotionally handling any of this, because he was
like what, 12?
And he's like, I think they aged him up. He's probably 15.
Okay,
but I mean, compared to his brother Joffrey, who was a psychopath that Cersei couldn't control. I mean, Tommen was somebody that everybody has controlled between Tyrion, between Cersei, and then the High Sparrow. But I mean, that scene was just chilling.
I felt so. Look, I'll go back to it, and she hasn't been my favorite character, but I felt really bad for Marjorie. She knew what was happening. She tried to warn people, and she just didn't make it, and it was upsetting. I thought she was going to get out. I thought she was going to get out too. Did you ever think she was going to get out, Craig?
No, I thought they were all going to die. I think the thing is that they show in the show is that believing in anything will lead to your death. And I think that's like the biggest thing about this is everybody that's had prophecies, everybody that's followed somebody that is. Sir Davos says this, and he said, we followed these kings. We really thought this was going to be the guy. You talk about Mans Raider that way, and everybody that really believes in anything or believes that they could game the system ends up dying.
Well, I will give props to Cersei for playing the long game. Like, she's played the longest game.
It's not the longest game, because what does she have now? She has pretty much nothing now. She's got King's Landing and she's got Casterly Rock.
And that's what she wanted.
And, she has Jaime.
She doesn't have the kingdom.
And she has Jaime.
Does she have Jaime?
No. She has Jaime, who basically broke all his vows to make sure this didn't happen and became a hated person across the 7 kingdoms. And now his sister did exactly what he stabbed the Mad King for. So that's a cool little foil that's going to unfold over next season.
But I think that Cersei has everything that she wants.
She's not going to have it very long.
She's not going to have it very long. And that's the other thing that this episode did, was it kind of set up 3 people who think that they rule whatever it is, or that they're going to rule. So we have Jon Snow, who's over in, name the place.
Winterfell.
Thank you.
My God.
Look. I got his name right.
Only the first location you see in the show.
Guys, we've already established can't remember anything. So Jon Snow, who's ruling over Winterfell, although in the north, there's that little wrinkle because now Littlefinger has planted the seed in Sansa's head that she should be in charge and that she's the rightful heir to the throne. And I think at the end she was starting to think that way.
Yeah.
Well, Jon is also he's not vying for the throne. Let's remember that he's vying. He's trying to unite the kingdom because the White Walkers are coming. Right. I think that's the one thing about Jon's
I think he would be happy to cede it to Sansa. It's like, okay, fine. Take it.
Right.
Take it, girl.
Right. And I think that he understands that it's not the same. They're falling into battle. Sansa's not going into battle. Yes, she brought in Littlefinger to save that battle, but Jon was I feel like they're going to tell the story of Jon in that Battle of the Bastards, and it's going to sound like this heroic, not a foolhardy thing that he did where he ran into battle, but they're going to explain it as just that scene is where he's just standing there, takes off his dagger, he takes off his belt, and he's just standing there with his sword.
Right.
I mean, that's what's going to be the story that's told across 7 kingdoms, not the fact that the Knights of Vale came in and saved him.
Right. And that Sansa orchestrated the whole thing.
Right, exactly.
I mean, she's going to be forgotten.
And even if he stood up and said that, I don't think that would have had any effect at all.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Jon, we found out they confirmed
that Lyanna Stark was his mother. I was a little frustrated because even though all signs point to Rhaegar being the father, why did they cut out the sound when Lyanna is speaking to Ned on her deathbed? All we hear is
the whisper.
That was like, and then she, and I think then she says, Robert will not stand for. I mean, I guess saying, if he will not let my son live because it was born to somebody else.
I thought she said father. She said Robert?
Yeah, she said Robert.
I have a theory about that, but it's kind of a little bit out there. Tinfoil hat.
Okay, let's put our tinfoil hats on.
Okay, so I think...
don't tell me it's the Mad King.
No, I don't think it's the Mad King.
I don't like that theory at all.
I think that George R. R. Martin has always said, he's always hinted at the fact that he's always done a Star Wars kind of storyline with this, that it's going to be a Luke and Leia kind of thing. So the prince that was promised, I think it's going to be... Daenerys and Jon are actually brother and sister, and that's what that whisper was that one of the babies there is actually... There's going to be 2 babies there, and the other one is actually Daenerys, and they were born under the sun and blood, which is to the bleeding sun. And if you notice when Ned Stark comes in, he puts down his sword, which is not ice. It is his previous sword, which on the hilt of it has a giant sun on it. And it's born of smoke, which is obviously the battle, and tears, which is Lyanna crying.
I'm sorry, what's happening right now?
That's the story of...
Are you speaking English?
Yes.
Are you saying that Daenerys is Lyanna's daughter?
Right, and I think...
How?
There didn't seem to be another baby in the room.
Right.
Well, but this is my theory about that, because I think that what Ned Stark did is and who can further this series probably come up in season 7 is that Howland Reed isn't also in that scene either, but he is there. So you don't see him.
He's there, but he's stabbed outside. I mean, he had enough energy to kill Arthur Dayne, but he's not making it up those stairs.
He hasn't made it into the series at all yet. But I think what happened was Ned Stark saw the baby, saw that Jon was one he could bring home. Didn't look like a Targaryen, but Dany clearly looks like a Targaryen, sent her away, and he was protecting her all those years with Howland Reed.
But how would that be the case? Because Bran is in the past, like looking at the actual event. So wouldn't he have seen that happen?
He was coming in at certain... You only see as a viewer
at
certain times of that. You're not seeing the whole scene. You remember, the baby was being handed to Ned. How do you know that there wasn't another baby there?
Because everybody was focused on that one baby. There was no indication that there's like another baby somewhere else.
I'm just saying
that there's BS if they pulled that.
Okay, well, remember, they did that. They whispered that, and they made that sound inaudible for some reason. And
yes, why did they make it sound inaudible?
Well,
you're saying that's why.
I'm saying that's why. I'm saying that's why, because if you look at her lips, she's wording something. It's obviously not Jon.
In which case, I think that's pretty lame storytelling.
But no, if you go back and look at, there's a theory that when Ned Stark was getting beheaded, he said, "I kept my promise," and I think the promise was because the last thing he did as the Hand of the King was save Dany's life.
I don't know.
All right, well,
tinfoil hat off.
Yeah, tinfoil hat off. Thank you.
Well, speaking of Dany's our third person in power here. She is we saw. Explain to me, because I get confused. We saw Varys show up in Dorne with the snake people.
With the sand snakes and Ilaria Sand, who killed the rulers of Dorne.
Who at that point already knew that her granddaughter and her grandson were dead.
Well, no, you're talking about Olenna Tyrell now.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, Ilaria Sand was talking with Olenna Tyrell. Actually, Olenna Redwine, I think, actually is her real name. Mm-hmm. But she's of House Tyrell, whose granddaughter is Marjorie and grandson is Loras, who got killed. So she's in mourning. She's already in black.
I don't think... Oh, yeah. Well, everybody's in black in the whole episode, if you notice.
Yes, but I'm like, Ilaria Sand, I don't think was in black. But yeah, so she's mourning her children, and she's mourning the end of her house.
But here's my question.
And she wants vengeance on Cersei.
I don't know if she knew that point that... I mean,
she
I don't
did
know.
because she mentioned it. She said something.
No, she said they took her away. Which basically that's what Cersei did. Cersei set it up. I mean, that can be debated, but I just don't. That's also the timeline thing.
I agree.
They don't.
Because I was going to say,
and how some people find out stuff and other people don't find out stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but I think I think it's clear that Olenna knew that Cersei had, or
something
Cersei had engineered her kids. Her house was dead, and she wants vengeance on the Lannisters and Cersei. Right. She is joining with Ellaria Sand and Dorne and Varys, bringing them under Daenerys's. Doing an alliance with Daenerys. So
then Daenerys has that huge army.
Yeah, so of the Iron Islands. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've got Daenerys is with Yara of the Iron Islands. She's with Ellaria Sand of Dorne, and she has Olenna Redwine of Highgarden, which has the second largest army and a lot of money. So she's pretty good.
She's set up pretty well. And now Tyrion is her right-hand man.
Oh, I love that scene. That was a beautiful scene.
I love the hand.
Hand of the queen. Hand of the queen. Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Right. I liked it too.
But it did. But it did set up the marriage.
Is that he does believe in
marriage.
her.
What marriage?
No. Just what Craig was saying about Tyrion believes in Daenerys. So does that spell doom for Tyrion at some point? Is Tyrion going to last the series?
Tyrion.
In the very last episode?
I mean, come on.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's okay. But I can't go a whole season without him. Mm-hmm. So we have 2 more seasons of Game of Thrones. We know that the next 2 seasons are shorter.
We're not even going to discuss Arya?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Arya,
I almost forgot.
And I did not think, I did not think that was Arya. I'm like, they're introducing a new character. Oh, this woman looks interesting.
I still thought it was going to be Jaime that was going to kill the Freys.
Yeah, I mean,
that
was really, that was good storytelling.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, effectively at the end of this, though, something that I feel like I missed too until I rewatched is that now the Riverlands are back under House Stark because they've always pledged their banners to them. Because Edmure Tully is in the he's in the basement and
of the
twins. But Walder Frey also specifically says, I think it's a little bit interesting that 4 foot soldiers killed the Blackfish.
Oh, he's thinking the Blackfish is still alive.
I'm going to go out. I mean, we're going to say the off-screen deaths in this show have never really panned out except for Stannis. Yeah. So I'm going to say that the Blackfish is probably still alive, and they're going to.
Lie, because the River Run is not under the Starks. They're another.
Well, their banners have always pledged to
each other.
Well, because
I don't think they're under the Starks. Wow, we're getting really deep into the weeds.
Yeah, this is. I mean,
sorry.
Okay, I wanted to talk about the slashing of the throat. Didn't need to see that.
Oh, really?
Really?
No. I could. The slashing is fine. I didn't need to see the blood.
But the parallels between Arya doing that and Catelyn doing that in the Red Wedding,
got killed.
But she wasn't smiling, and then she was smiling. I mean, I think the most gruesome part was feeding the sons.
It was either a toe or a finger.
Oh,
he already ate the whole pie.
Right.
That was just I thought that was a very, very well done scene.
It was great.
Well, then the question, because Craig knows all this stuff. So Arya became...
I know all this stuff. I've read more books than Craig has.
That is true.
So, wait, Arya became a faceless man? Did she steal the faces?
I'm saying she grabbed some faces on the way out.
Yeah, we're not... I mean, there's not really... They haven't really explained how this really works yet. So we're just kind of saying, well, whatever happens, sure, that works.
As long as it's
I mean,
cool,
she obviously
it's
flew direct to the twins because she got there pretty quickly.
Wait, that's what I was saying to Vicki. So finally, gosh darn it, I knew his name the other day.
Who?
The chubby guy.
Sam Walteller.
Thank you. So finally, Sam and the girlfriend.
Gilly.
Thank you.
They arrive at Hogwarts.
Yes.
Yes, they arrive at Hogwarts. It took them like a bajillion years to get there, whereas everyone else is like flying jet setting around.
I mean, honestly, it really took them a long time.
It took them a long time. It took them multiple episodes.
Quite frankly, I don't even know. I mean, they had like 2 scenes. Other than this episode, they had basically 2 scenes, I think, with Sam. One, they're in the ship, getting to going to the Citadel, and Sam drops the knowledge. Oh, no, actually, I'm going to leave you at Hardhome, and then they're at Hardhome, and it's like, I hope that sword is really important, because otherwise, didn't need either one of those 2 scenes. It could have ended with Sam showing up at the end. Oh, look, I'm going to discover the secret to destroying all the White Walkers here.
Well, they know that Valerian steel is what kills the White Walkers. So,
well, I'm assuming that he went to the library to discover some larger way,
because there's so many of them.
Because there's not that many Valerian steel swords.
That is true.
Right. All right. Did I miss anything before I move on?
Melisandre, she got got banished. I kind of thought that Jon would kill her, but okay, she must be important.
It's Arya's list.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we have 2 more seasons of Game.
Lyanna Mormont is so cool. That's all I'm going to say. Lyanna Mormont is my new favorite character.
Yes.
And 5 years, and I want her to be with Jon. Yes.
No.
Her and Jon, like her, she can wait. Obviously,
I've already
go through puberty,
and then told you it's like
love
Renee Angelil and Celine Dion.
No, they're only they're probably like 6 years apart.
No, it's disgusting. No, can't happen. All right, so 2 more seasons of Game of Thrones, 2 shortened seasons. That was a really long episode. I know it was the longest episode ever, but it was lengthy.
It felt longer than 69 minutes.
I agree, and it was a great episode, but it was a little too long. All right, so we'll see what happens when Game of Thrones returns next year. Whew. So
for
long
how many
from
episodes?
Now.
We
7,
don't know.
I think?
No,
they haven't said. They said there's going to be between 70 and 75 hours of show. So.
Who talks in those terms? Who said that?
Well, that's what that would bring us to 15. 15 remaining episodes if it was 75.
All right, that's fine. Okay, so moving from highbrow to ultimate lowbrow. Let's talk about Vicki watching the season premiere of Big Brother. Craig, have you ever watched Big Brother?
No, I have no idea what this is.
Oh gosh, that is unfortunate for you. Because it is one of the best. Excuse me, it's one of the reasons why I love summer.
I don't understand it. Okay, I have to say that I was in Philly last week on Wednesday, and it turns out I did not tape the first 2 hours of it on Wednesday.
It was 2 hours.
So I watched Thursday and I watched Sunday. So I did end up watching.
Saw some comps, and like what head of household is. And
you really had to clear up that HOH thing for me. It was like when I was watching Survivor really for the first time in 20 years. It was like, what is going on here? I don't get this. And my mind was already turning to mush because it's so.
So for those of you who don't know what Big Brother is, it's a reality show on CBS. There are 16 house guests. They live in a house where there's no television, there are no windows. They have a backyard, and all they do is really play the game all week long with different competitions. So there's a head of household. That person decides who's nominated for the week. And from those nominees, there's another competition where you play for the power of veto, and someone could take themselves off the block, as it's called. And then
I did actually like this new twist that they introduced, having never really having not seen this again in 15 years. That was actually a good twist.
A new twist. I can't remember the name of it. They come up with a name for everything.
Oh
yes, BB Roadkill.
I watched one episode and I already know the language better than Erin.
Where I just don't remember things. Where instead of 2 nominees this year, there are 3 nominees, and the third nominee is decided by someone who wins this BB Roadkill competition, and it's an anonymous.
Doesn't have to be.
Well, they can decide whether or not they want to let the house guests know. Let me just tell you, it's probably not a good idea to let the house guests know. Mm-hmm. And so there are 3 nominees, and then on Thursday, one person will be voted out of the Big Brother house. Can't say forever because it's Big Brother, and you always have to.
You can bring them back in.
Expect the unexpected.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do they bring people who've been kicked off back in?
Mm-hmm. They usually do a competition about midway through, and they bring back one person.
Oh, like Cutthroat Kitchen or whatever it's called on.
I don't watch
Top Chef, which is the highfalutin reality shows that I watch.
So I also watch Top Chef. So Vicki, what did you find most intriguing about Big Brother?
I think it'll be most annoying because I had plenty of things to say most annoying.
The annoying.
Okay, can I tell you? Okay, there is a way of doing confessionals where you can sound natural.
Yes.
You can sound like a normal human being as a normal human being talks, and you see these sort of confessionals on a lot of other reality shows. The way they were doing the confessionals here is very similar to the way they do it on Hell's Kitchen. See, I watch a lot of reality shows. Hell's Kitchen on Fox, where these people talk to the camera and they put on all this braggadocio, and it sounds
they're
like
yelling.
They're yelling, and it sounds very scripted. It sounds like
it is very scripted.
It sounds like by the time we hear it, it's like the 7th time they've said it.
That is correct,
and that is so annoying to me.
But that's Big Brother.
I don't like that
as
at all.
Someone who has watched every season, it's 18 at this point, of Big Brother, that's just what they do. You know that the producers are feeding them these lines because, well, these people aren't that smart. And it is probably the 3rd or 4th time that
I have to say, like, the most annoying collection of voices among these people.
Yes.
Okay, Nicole.
Okay.
What is her name?
Because
Bronte?
it's nasally. Bronte is really...
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Paul with the beard,
Yes,
who has
Paul's
sparkles in the
irritating.
beard, maybe?
Paul's one of my least favorite house
Oh my
guests.
God, like all these people. Like just
What
like,
about the Jersey guy, Jose? Isn't he effing annoying?
He's pretty annoying, and I have to admit that, the way he was taught... The one woman I do like is the poker dealer. What's her name? Starts with a D, with the braids, the black woman.
Dion. Oh, shoot. She's a returning player.
I liked her because she was listening to, I think it's Jose, by the way, go on and on about how he is the, he's basically the Messiah. He knows how to play it.
He is
blah,
the
blah.
Messiah.
And of course she turns
Davon
around.
is her name.
Okay.
Yes.
And she goes back and tells the other
house guests.
The other house. Well, actually, it seems to be the newbies versus the.
So there are different
returning people.
alliances. So that's the other thing with Big Brother is that there's always an alliance. The thing with this season is that they have placed the house guests into teams, or the house guests placed themselves into teams. But they had to do it. Whereas in previous seasons, that wasn't the case. Like, you played individually, and then you would form an alliance, and that alliance would come up with a name. But this season, they had to come up with names. So there are so many names flying around that house, like Category 4 and the unicorns, or whatever they're called, that I can't keep them all straight.
And the freakazoids.
The freakazoids. And then there's like the group of 8. What are they called?
Well, that was the new alliance that they formed
with the newbies.
Well, first of all, it was like
and
the old bees, the old people,
Yes.
and then they brought in 4 new people. And now they're the Gang of 8. But I guess nobody else knows about that.
This 8-pack.
The 8-pack. Yes.
8-pack. That's what it's called. No one else knows. So, Vicki, will you watch any other episodes of Big Brother?
Well, I have to watch it on fast forward to see whether any of my Jersey people get kicked off. So
On
there's going to be at least a
fast-forward?
couple more episodes I have to watch.
Well, that means you have to watch tonight, Wednesday.
Is that when they
because
get
it's
kicked
on
off?
No.
Okay.
We're
Oh my
we're
God, are you kidding me?
No, because you need to watch the Power of Veto competition, because one of the people who's on the block could win the Power of Veto, get taken off, and then another person
It's
goes
too
up.
complicated.
It's not
And
complicated.
also, how do you feel about how cheap everything looks? Is that part of its
Big
charm? That's
Brother.
its charm. That it just
Yes.
looks cheap.
Hello.
It was ridiculous.
Wait till you see one of the backyard competitions where it's like really elaborate, and you're like, how do they turn this little backyard into a crazy competition setup?
That palm tree competition where like the floor was
with the
basically like
coconuts.
hefty bags.
And then the middle, the trunk of the tree was some weird rubber.
And I was like, what is
I don't
this?
know.
It looks like
It's so good.
so cheap.
It's so
but you think
good.
it's purposefully cheap looking?
Yes, it's part of the charm. So you have to watch Wednesday night's episode and Thursday night's episode. Thursday is when the person gets voted out. The Thursday episodes are really ones you can fast forward through because, I mean, not much happens.
Okay.
So that's Big Brother. I'm so glad you watched. You didn't enjoy, but that's because you haven't grown to appreciate it yet. Let's talk about Orange is the New Black, which premiered on Netflix a couple of weeks ago. And Vicki and I have not finished the season.
But we're going to go about
We're about
going to talk
through.
halfway through.
I mean, 16 episodes, right?
Is it?
I think
Actually,
it's either 13 or 16. It's too many.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I assumed it was like 12 or 13 like
I could
it always
do
is.
10.
Okay.
I can go with 10, but I'm right now I'm on episode 8, I think. How far are you? Yes, I've got. So spoiler alert.
Okay, so turn it off.
If you haven't watched Orange is the New Black, don't listen. A lot of things have happened. Piper is a panty kingpin.
Yes.
And it has gone straight to her head.
Yes.
She inadvertently started a white supremacist group.
Yes.
Which is like...
Sorry.
How does that happen?
Sorry, it was actually
But it
responsible
did.
for one of my favorite quotes, which is, I don't think that racism should be a group activity. It's private.
That was said by... Yes. Oh, my gosh. What else has happened? Red is sort of not in power anymore.
But she's okay.
She's fine, though. She's hanging out. There's the rich lady. What's her name?
Oh, Judy King, played by I'm going to say Molly Dodd. I'm sorry, Blair Brown, I believe. She's playing like a Martha Stewart slash Paula Dean character.
Yes.
And she's in prison for some sort of, I don't know, stock fraud or whatever.
Right.
But has some sort of like racism issue going on.
Although at midway through the season, she realizes that she does not have a racism issue going on in the prison. That the inmates are just trying to take her photo.
Yeah, well, I mean, the darkness of the season is kind of coming in the there's overcrowding this season, and a bunch of Dominicans came in, and
because the prison is now privatized.
The prison is privatized, and the Dominicans try to come up with their own panty ring,
right?
And
which turns into a drug ring.
It turns into a drug ring because Chapman basically turns them in and gives the leader, Maria, a couple more.
This Maria person,
years.
she's new?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no, yeah.
She was here last season.
Okay, yeah. She looks familiar.
But the people around her, some of them are new.
Right. But Maria is going hardcore Kingpin.
Yes.
Like, Piper compared to Maria is, the little old lady who's trying to run a monopoly on the lemonade stand.
Yeah.
Whereas Maria is not effing around.
She's like Scarface, yeah.
She's like Scarface. And they brand Piper
with a swastika.
Right on her forearm.
Yeah.
And it devastates Piper. Which, by the way, I will say, again, Piper's not one of my favorite characters on the show. But as the season has progressed, I feel her pain.
I feel they're making her more relevant again. The fact that she created a white power ring accidentally and is trying to sort of like stop it from happening. I think there's interesting stuff going on with her now, although the stuff in the beginning about how she's a gangster with an A, I wasn't feeling that
at all.
But she's back with she's not back with Alex.
She's not back with Alex, but she sympathizes with Alex.
Yeah.
They're friends. Alex revealed to Piper that she murdered
a prison guard who had been sent to kill her, as she had always suspected.
Right. And as Red said, you either kill or be killed. Like, she had to do it. So,
I actually don't understand why Alex is so... speaking as somebody who's never killed anybody,
right?
But if a person was trying to strangle me, I really would not feel so bad about killing them.
Yeah, but I guess it is a leap from selling drugs to murdering someone, even if they were trying to kill you.
Completely in self-defense. Although at the very end, it wasn't really in self-defense because it turned out he was still living and she had to suffocate him,
right? And then chopped his body, and then buried him in the garden.
Yes, but the corn looks delightful.
It looks delicious. But speaking of that particular storyline, I think that Lori Petty is doing an excellent job this season.
You know who's really doing an excellent job? Whoever played her as a young girl. That was not Lori Petty. That wasn't her? That was not her. That was another actress who, the voice...
Are we sure?
I'm absolutely sure. I looked it up. I looked it up. Amazing job.
I thought the face was different. Like, it didn't look exactly like her, and I thought they used prosthetics.
But the voice was amazing.
Maybe they did a lip voice dub?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay, so explain to me Lori Petty's backstory, because you know me, I get confused and I wasn't really paying attention. Was she a journalist? And then she went crazy?
Well, I think she's always had issues.
Got it.
And, a lot of times your mental illness doesn't show up until, your teens or your early 20s.
Right.
And so she was sort of holding it together, hearing the voices, and then, went full on crazy.
Right.
I have to say, one ding I have to give to the season so far is that I have not really been into a lot of the backstories. They haven't had the punch of a lot of the other ones. Maritza, particularly the one who stole the car, was I guess you're supposed to understand why she's so nervous about being part of the dropping off the panties at the guard's house, but it's nothing. You haven't gotten to Blanca yet. The one who speaks Spanish most of the time.
I'm on Blanca's episode, but I don't know what she did. So.
Blanca's is great. Well, the thing is, you're not really even finding out exactly. Sometimes you find out what they did to get in prison.
Right.
Sometimes they're just filling in stories.
Right.
And,
the surprise there is that Blanca speaks English.
Yes. Pretty well.
And she only speaks Spanish in prison.
Pretty much only. Because after she starts speaking English, she actually switches to English a little bit more in this episode.
Oh, okay.
But she's still pretty much speaking Spanish.
And she's running with Maria's gang.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, where I am, we haven't found out. So Sophia still was in solitary.
Yeah.
And she was doing all that she could to get, not Caputo, Caputo.
To Caputo to get her out of the shoe.
Out of the shoe. And then there's an episode where Nikki, who is also in
she's in Max. And she's cleaning the shoe.
She was cleaning the shoe. She saw that she had to clean a cell that was Sophia's where there was blood all over the wall. So we don't really know what happened to where I am.
Yeah,
we don't know what happened to Sophia just yet. But I hear that the season takes a turn at some point where it gets really sad and upsetting. I have not gotten there yet.
I accidentally spoiled producer Alyssa on it because she sent me an email about some major thing that happens we have to watch. So when I walked over and said, "Oh, it's blah blah blah," and she's like, "What? I feel so
don't
bad.
Spoil it for me because I've been able to avoid all Orange is the New Black spoilers.
I got one very large spoiler.
Okay, well, don't tell me.
Thank you, People Magazine. No, I clicked on it. It was my own fault.
It was your fault.
Okay. My own fault.
Well, I think this season has been pretty solid. I'm curious to see where the race/gang situation goes, I'm sure it's not a good place. Now, here's a question for you, because we're going to talk about Emmy predictions.
Yes. And I have one of these ladies on my list.
Me too. Mm-hmm. But Orange is the New Black. That's a drama?
It's a drama, yes.
Okay.
Which I think is fair.
I think it is fair.
Yes.
It hasn't really been funny at all this season.
No, and they still have amazing one-liners. Absolutely amazing one-liners.
That's true. And the whole thing with the Martha Stewart, Paula Deen character, some of those moments are funny. But otherwise, not funny at all. Mm-hmm. Oh, and now I'm to the point where the guard who raped Pensatucky is trying to make amends.
Yes.
Okay. What? Don't tell me what happens, but I just think that's bizarre.
Coates.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Well, I mean, it's actually, I think it's a very interesting subplot. You know that I said last week that I love what Taryn Manning is doing with Doggett, Pensatucky. So basically, Coates raped her last season. They had sort of had like this like weird little romance going on because Doggett was driving and he was with her, and they got ice cream, whatever. And then he raped her, but he didn't realize it was rape because he thought they had a relationship. He wanted to have sex. She didn't really want to have sex. I don't want to ruin anything for you. I think you got to the point where. Did you get to the point where she asks him, is there anything you wish you could change?
And he says the whole thing about, I would have done it differently and we would go out on a date or something. I don't know.
The part where I just think she should have gotten she should get her Emmy nomination. Actually, I don't even know if this is this year or last year. I don't know. I never know which season we're talking about when we're talking about.
I think it's
the Emmys.
Last year for Orange.
Okay, well, anyway, then next year she should get an Emmy when he says, but I told you I loved you. And that should make it different. And she just says, didn't feel different. And, it just broke my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's Orange is the New Black. We'll keep watching. When we're done, we'll talk about it again. If you have any thoughts, let us know. Let's get into some Emmy predictions. Vicki, we're going to have to speed through these.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. So let's do Outstanding Actress in a Drama.
Got it.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I've got Claire Danes for Homeland. Thought last season was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Juliana Margulies for The Good Wife. Last time. You got to be nominated.
If you say so.
All right, fine. Kristen Ritter for Jessica Jones.
Yes.
Carrie Russell for The Americans.
I will give you that one because I'm not caught up.
I know you're not. And Shiri Appleby for Unreal.
So we agree on 2.
All right.
Cannot believe you did not. Well, I don't know. How far are you into House of Cards? It was Robin Wright's season.
I didn't even start.
Okay, Robin Wright's season. She should definitely be there, although I would really love to see Kristen Ritter get it. Shiri Appleby. The 2 other people I added was Carrie Coon from The Leftovers, because you know how I feel about The Leftovers.
She was the...
she is Justin Theroux's wife, yes.
I didn't like her.
Oh, I love her.
Sorry.
And, quite frankly, she should have gotten it last year, because I think, her storyline was a little more searing
for
last season.
1, yeah.
And I don't know how Katrina Balfe from Outlander.
Don't watch it.
You should probably watch. I
can't add any more shows. I'm
it's so
I'm at
good.
Capacity.
You should at least watch 1 episode.
Maybe.
So beautifully done. She is so great. She's the heroine, and she's wonderful.
Sure. Okay. Outstanding Actress in a Comedy. I have Tracee Ellis Ross for Blackish, Julia Louis-Dreyfus for Veep, Sutton Foster for Younger, yes, which I love. Gina Rodriguez for Jane the Virgin, and I included Rachel Bloom for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, even though I think the show is terrible.
It's not terrible. How can you say that? It should be half an hour, but it's not terrible.
Okay, fine.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Rachel Bloom, I have it with you. I'm putting up Lena Dunham. Crazy. Didn't we just say
it was a couple episodes? It was a great season of Girls. But I wouldn't nominate her.
I am putting up Lena Dunham. I have another person in the supporting actress. I can't even read my handwriting. Ellie Kemper.
Okay, for Kimmy Schmidt.
It's like Shameless is my issue, where I really think it should be in the drama, and so I'm putting Emmy Rossum up there because I think she's great. Although it's really more of a dramatic role than a comedic role.
Right. All right.
That's the only place I can put her.
So let's move on to Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama. You got that one?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. I have Constance Zimmer for Unreal. I put Lori Petty in because I wasn't sure either about Orange is the New Black, but if it's this season, I'd include her. Christine Baranski for The Good Wife. Regina King for The Leftovers.
Yes.
I thought she was great. And I have Lena Headey because again, we don't know which season of Game of Thrones. I think it's this season.
No, I thought it was last season. How can it be this season if it's still going on? We agreed last week it was,
That it was
last season, which we didn't like.
Right, but I still think Lena Headey was great last season.
Well, yeah, she did the Walk of Atonement last season, even though it was only
even though it wasn't her.
Up.
Yes. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
I agree with you on Lena Headey and Regina King and Constance Zimmer, so we got 3 for 3.
Wow.
The only other 2 I added was I gave it to Taryn Manning for Orange is the New Black.
All right.
She's my girl. And I really liked Rhea Seehorn on Better Call Saul, although I might give a shout-out to Carly Shaken from Mr. Robot. I think she's great in Mr. Robot.
Play?
Now you're going to ask me to name the name, but I can't.
No, it doesn't have to be a name. Just tell me, like, the character.
His sister.
Oh, I didn't think she was that great. All right. Outstanding.
That's just great.
Outstanding supporting actress in a comedy. I had a really hard time with this one. I have Anna Klumsky from Veep.
Agreed.
Jane Krakowski from Kimmy Schmidt. Random. This is random. Donna Lynn Champlin. You have no idea who that is, but you do. It's Paula from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, the best friend.
Oh, yeah, she's wonderful. She is wonderful.
There's no way she's going to be nominated, but I think she's great.
She'd probably be nominated. Well, no. You're right. You're right. She's probably not going to be nominated.
And I have Jemima Kirk from Girls.
Okay.
But I only had those 4. I
gave it to Zoe Mamet from Girls, because probably my favorite episodes are the ones where she was in Japan. I loved it. Okay. So Zoe Mamet from Girls. We agreed on Anna Klumsky. I gave it to Carol Kane. Because of her whole gentrification storyline and Kimmy Schmidt, I thought that was really wonderful. I have to give something to Togetherness because I love Togetherness, even though it got canceled. HBO, you probably don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I gave it to Amanda Peet.
Okay.
I thought she was great. And this is my last one, and it's going to surprise you. It's a show that I have sort of
Mozart in the Jungle.
No, I didn't give it to anybody Mozart in the Jungle, though I still loved it. It was a show that Allison Janney from Mom, which I've started watching, and I really like, even though it is a multicam sitcom with a laugh track, which I normally hate.
Right.
But, like, the subject matter and the way they handled it is so funny and wonderful. I'm really being charmed by it. I've only watched, like, 3 or 4 episodes this season, but I really like it. So, Emmy got it right, I gotta say.
A lot of people like that show, and it is critically acclaimed. All right, so wrapping up here, we have Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy. I only have 2 because I really apparently don't watch any comedies. I have Tony Hale from Veep because he is always funny. Actually, if I could, I'd nominate all of the male characters on Veep because they're all pretty funny. And then I have Eric Stonestreet from Modern Family because I just can't with Cam.
I skipped over all of Modern Family. Not that I don't love Modern Family. It's like, let's just move on now. I actually gave it to Kevin Dunn of Veep, who plays, I think he's the chief of staff, the heavyset one, not Gary Cole, who's the numbers guy.
Oh, yeah.
I just think I think he's really an undervalued person on that show. I love him. I put Titus Burgess in the best actor category. So yes, he really is best supporting actor in Kimmy Schmidt. I really hope he gets it. There's this English actor, actually maybe Scottish or Welsh, I have no idea. I think he's Scottish. Mark Bonner from Catastrophe, who plays Chris. He's actually a dramatic actor. He does such a good job playing a just extremely astringently dry character on the show. I love it. And then I would give it to basically any supporting actor in Silicon Valley. I would probably give it to Martin Starr, who plays Guilfoyle, but I really love, I think his name is Zach Woods. And I can't remember the character's name, but he's Jared.
Okay.
He plays the tall, gangly, like, believer type guy. They're just wonderful.
All right. And then finally, Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama. I'm going to call an audible here. I'm going to add David Tennant, even though I don't know if he is a supporting or a lead. Show? Jessica Jones.
Oh, Jessica Jones. Sorry. I'm thinking Doctor Who. I'm like, he hasn't been on Doctor Who in a long
No,
time.
Jessica Jones.
Yes.
Supporting, right?
Probably.
Okay,
yeah.
so I'll put him in there. I give it to Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was awesome on the last season of The Good Wife. Mandy Patinkin for Homeland. And Rupert Friend as well for Homeland.
Wow, you really liked Homeland.
I thought last season was great.
I thought it was very solid. I didn't think it was stand out apparently as you thought.
All right.
Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones because he's always awesome
and he's always awesome.
Mendham. I'll give it to Christian Slater for Mr. Robot. Christopher Eccleston from The Leftovers. He did the whole Jesus thing on top of the minivan.
He was
really good.
He was good.
Jonathan Banks, who is my TV boyfriend forever and always from Better Call Saul, plays Mike Ehrmantraut. And finally, the surprising last one, I'm going to give it to Ray Romano from Vinyl, which has been canceled. But he was great in a funny but dramatic
Vinyl.
Yes, I had to put a Vinyl one in
nomination.
There you go.
All right, sure. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's show. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to Donald Hertel, who sent us an email. Donald, we have read your email, and we may read some of it on the air next week.
We have a little more time.
Yeah, we ran out of time with all of our Game of Thrones talk. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at TVHangoverShow, at E_Meds, and at Vicki High, VICKIHY. Thank you again to Craig McCarthy for joining us. He's at Create Craig. Like us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and all other places where you can listen to podcasts. We will actually be off next week. But
Erin's on vacation.
Because I'm going to Vegas. Got to roll those dice. But we will be back the week after with maybe some more Emmy predictions before Vicki heads off on vacation.
New Orleans.
And we will see and talk to you guys then.